Hey guys, how are you? Another literature break for you this afternoon. And I hope you like what I've done with my couch. Just thought I'd have a little, I don't know, I got excited with the advanced settings on the webcam. So anyway, so I'm debating about two different books today. This one, Dishwasher by Pete Jordan. I've been um, I've been reading this one for a bit. I found it at a coffee shop up on the north side. It's been really fun. It's about a guy who gets a dishwashing job in all 50 states. So it's pretty interesting quest slash saga. And then this one, this is The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry. And this, I think, yeah, this is coming out like it's not even out yet. I got this advanced reader copy at BEA a couple months ago. Anyway, I'm almost finished with it, and it's a really fun read. So well, let's just read a couple pages of both. Why not, right? Let's start with this one. So, this unlikely pilgrimage of Harold Fry, this guy just walks the entire length of England. So, anyway. Alright, so this is page 120. His clothes no longer dried. The leather of his shoes was so bloated with water they lost their shape. Whitnage, Wesley, Whiteball, so many places beginning with W. Trees, hedgerow, telegraph poles, houses, recycling bins. He left his razor and shaving foam in the shared bathroom of a guest house and lacked the energy to replace them. Inspecting his feet, he was alarmed to discover that the burning in his calf had taken physical shape and was a violent stain of crimson beneath the surface of the skin. For the first time, he was very frightened. In Sanford Arundel, Harold phoned Maureen. He needed to hear her voice, and he wanted her to remind him why he was walking, even if she did it in anger. He didn't want her to suspect the doubt he was suffering or the difficulty with his legs, so he asked how she was, and also the house, and she told him they were both good. She in turn asked if he was still walking, and he said that he had passed Exeter and Tiverton and was on his way to Bath via Taunton. Was there anything he wanted sending on? His mobile, his toothbrush, his pajamas, or spare clothes? There was a kindness in her voice, but he was surely imagining it. I'm all right, he said. So you must almost be to Somerset. I'm not sure. I suppose I must. How many miles today? I don't know, maybe 7. Well, she said. The rain beat the roof of the phone booth, and the dim light behind the windows was like something fluid. He wanted to stay talking to Maureen, but the silence and the distance, which they had nursed for 20 years, had grown to such a point that even clichés were empty, and they hurt. At last she said, Well, I must get going, Harold. Lots to do. Yes, me too. I just wanted to say hello and everything. Check you were all right. So that's this book that's coming out soon, Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry by Rachel Joyce. So, and then for a quick minute, I don't know why we're doing 2 today. Let's just go. This is in the section called A 3-Day Soaker. So he's in Anchorage. While I was traipsing around Anchorage, my garbage bag luggage fell apart. My crap had to be cradled in my arms for a couple hours until I came upon an Army-Navy surplus store. There I broke down and blew 7 of my 32 bucks on a second-hand duffel bag that was big enough to accommodate my sleeping bag, tent, t-shirt, and books. My new duffel bag, and then I headed south 60 miles to the town of Kenai, where I picked up work in a fish cannery and pitched my tent outside the plant. My job was to slime salmon by gutting them and slicing off their fins. That is, when they were fish to be processed. Despite our being far from where the tanker had struck the reef, the oil slick covered such a large area that tar balls were turning up in the local fishing grounds. Each time a tar ball washed up, the fishing ceased and the cannery shut down for a few days. After several weeks of working sporadically, I quit and hitchhiked another 60 miles down to where the road dead-ended in Homer. Again, I got hired at a cannery. Again, the work was intermittent due to the oily waters, and again I quit after a few weeks. While I was in Homer, a coworker told me that volunteers were needed at the place that treated spill-affected sea otters. When oil got into their fur, the animals would try to lick themselves clean. Swallowing the indigestible oil could be fatal, so they were captured and brought to the rescue center where their fur was cleaned by volunteers. I was fascinated, but not because I was any big animal nut. Rather, I was smitten with how otter fur was cleaned, washed by hand, using household dishwashing detergent. So I thumbed it the 80 miles to Seward and arrived in the evening. In the morning, I offered my services at the rescue center, but was rejected. There was already a glut of otter washers. In the afternoon, on the edge of town, I caught a ride. The driver had just spent more than a month on a boat plucking the oiled otters from the sea. Now he was on his way home for a week of R&R. When he heard about my attempt at volunteering, he offered to get me a job on the boat he worked on. Me? Work on a boat? I explained to him how that wasn't likely. So that is from Dishwasher by Pete Jordan. So cool. All right, hope you guys have a great weekend and take care.